Pepito Margarito and the bridges of Byzantium de Rodahelio Brito. Pepito Margarito was no ordinary child. He always wore a sand-colored explorer's outfit and a very special hat. At the top of his headgear, a small metal weather vane sparkled in the sun. It wasn't for telling which way the wind blew, but for traveling through time. If Pepito turned it to the right, he soared into the future. If he turned it to the left, he zoomed back into the past. This morning, Pepito decided it was time for a grand, ancient adventure. Click! Pepito turned the weather vane with determination to the left. Suddenly his room filled with a swirl of golden and purple lights. The air began to smell of the sea and warm stone. Next stop, Byzantium! Pepito shouted as he felt his feet leave the ground. The world around him spun so fast that colors blended like a painter's palette, carrying him thousands of years back in a magical breath. Upon landing, Pepito found himself in front of a colossal construction site. Workers were busy placing gigantic stone blocks. He was in ancient Constantinople, just as the great walls were being raised to protect the city. A young stonecutter named Elian stopped to look at the strange visitor. Pepito pulled out his binoculars to watch how wooden cranes lifted the heavy stones toward the blue sky. Amidst the dust of the construction site, a man appeared, dressed in silk robes embroidered with gold and wearing a shimmering crown. It was Emperor Constantine himself. Pepito, being very polite, gave a respectful explorer's salute. The emperor held parchment plans in his hands and seemed very proud of his work. Constantine looked at Pepito's hat with immense curiosity, for he had never seen such a small and shiny weather vane. "This wall will be the strongest in the world," Constantine explained to Pepito as they walked together at the foot of a massive tower. "It will protect our people, our treasures and our libraries." Pepito listened carefully, amazed by the power of ancient engineering. The emperor showed him how the stones fit together perfectly. Pepito took out his notebook and began to carefully draw the geometric pattern of the battlements. Upon reaching the royal gardens, Pepito found a huge carved marble capital resting on the grass. He sat on it, wearing his adventurer suit, to listen to the stories of Empress Theodora. She spoke to him about the history of the empire and the wonders of the city. Pepito, with his weather vane hat and infinite curiosity, listened fascinated to every word of the majestic woman, feeling like a true chronicler of the past. "Walls are necessary for safety, young explorer," Theodora said in a soft voice. "But never forget that we must also build bridges with words." Pepito became thoughtful, notebook in hand. The empress explained that speaking and understanding other cultures was just as important as the stones of the wall. "Words can unite what walls divide," she added with wisdom. Pepito wrote this sentence down in large letters. Pepito sat for a moment on a stone bench to organize his valuable notes. In his explorer's notebook, he had drawn the wall, Constantine's technical plans, and Theodora's wise words. He knew that this information was a treasure he must carry back to his own time. As he wrote, he understood that Byzantium was not just a city of stone, but a city of powerful ideas that would last forever. Before Pepito departed, Empress Theodora stepped forward and handed him an ancient scroll tied with a beautiful red silk ribbon. "Take this to your time," she told him with a smile. "It is a symbolic map of the bridges that words can build between people." Pepito tucked it carefully into his backpack. He said goodbye to the empress with a warm handshake, grateful for everything he had learned. Pepito reached for his hat and turned the magical weather vane hard to the right. Zap! In the blink of an eye, the sea air disappeared, and he found himself back in the quiet of his room. Theodora's scroll was still there, safe in his backpack. Pepito smiled, knowing that although the walls of Byzantium were impressive, the words he had learned were the longest bridge he would ever cross to unite the world.